So let's have a look at that. 2.6. This is where Coca-Cola sits. It's a killer. It's toxic. I was in the Fiji Islands and I was lecturing to some school children there. This is about 10 years ago. And the principal of the school said, I know the Coca-Cola factory. And he said, and I know they clean their machinery with the Coca-Cola. Bit scary, isn't it?
Surprising as it may sound, in a single sip of Coca-Cola, you are consuming approximately 0.11 grams of sugar. Barbara O'Neill points out that this very high sugar content, in addition to the acidity of Coca-Cola, is unhealthy since it causes the erosion of tooth enamel and creates an environment for harmful yeast, bacteria, etc. So, knowing these risks, how many more sugary drinks are you prepared to put into your mouth? And are you aware of the long-term impact such beverages could have on your overall health? Let's explore the 7 concerning points about Coca-Cola that Barbara has stressed over time. Number 1. Extreme acidity.
Where does Coca-Cola sit? Nearly 2.6.
To begin with, we have the highly acidic nature of the drink. Barbara O'Neill emphasized how crucial it is to maintain the body's pH balance, particularly when it comes to our blood. She explains that blood pH stays within a very specific and narrow range, typically between 7.35 and 7.45. This range is not just a guideline, it is essential for our survival. If blood pH rises too high, reaching levels like 7.8, it can trigger a coma, leading to death due to a condition known as alkalosis. On the flip side, if the pH drops too low, for instance, to 7.2, it can also result in coma, but this time due to acidosis, which is equally fatal as alkalosis. Our body simply cannot tolerate much variation in this pH balance.
So can you see that the pH can have a dramatic effect on the way our body runs?
Now let us discuss something that most people may not consider, the position of Coca-Cola on the pH scale. O'Neill points out that Coca-Cola has a pH of about 2.5, which is highly acidic. To put it into perspective, this level of acidity is extremely far from what's safe for the body. She even refers to it as a killer due to its potential harm. Yet, despite this alarming fact, many people continue to drink it, often without understanding the risks involved. Ignorance about what we consume can lead to serious health issues, as many doctors state that you are what you eat. Number 2. Industrial cleaning agent. You might have seen people washing their hair with Coke for shine, but this might come as a surprise. Barbara brings attention to this surprising yet concerning property of Coca-Cola that makes it an effective cleaning agent. Coca-Cola contains phosphoric acid, a substance that contributes to its highly acidic pH level. It is strong enough to cut through rust, clean grease, and remove difficult stains from various surfaces.
I was in the Fiji Islands and I was lecturing to some school children there. This is about 10 years ago. And the principal of the school said, I know the Coca-Cola factory. And he said, and I know they clean their machinery with the Coca-Cola. Bit scary, isn't it?
Moreover, Coca-Cola's carbonation aids in cleaning, as the bubbles lift off extra dirt, making it easier to wash. The sugar in Coca-Cola, although not directly related to cleaning, adds to its stickiness, which can sometimes help in binding and lifting away certain particles. Barbara shares a story that perfectly shows just how corrosive Coca-Cola can be. About 2 decades ago, during her visit to the Fiji Islands, she was giving a lecture to school children when she had an eye-opening conversation with the school principal. The principal, who was well acquainted with the local Coca-Cola factory, revealed something that might make you think twice about what you are drinking. He mentioned that the factory actually uses Coca-Cola to clean its machinery. Yes, you heard that right. The same beverage that people drink every day is used to clean industrial equipment. So, when you consider that this drink is strong enough to clean metal surfaces, it's unsettling to think about its effects on our bodies, isn't it? Number 3. Disease-promoting environment.
Thrives in a 5.5 environment in the human body. This is where cancer thrives. This is where fungus thrives. And there's a huge link today, and it's only really been recognised since 1976, the link between fungus and disease.
After sharing the story from Fiji, Barbara highlights a critical point about the impact of Coca-Cola and other acidic substances on our body's internal environment. She explains Coca-Cola is not only sweet, with a pH of 2.5, but it is, in fact, an acid that can change the delicate pH balance within our body. Coca-Cola can decrease the pH of our body body, making it more acidic than needed. This shift in pH is more than just a minor change. It can create a breeding ground for disease to develop and grow. And these are not just minor flu or cold-type disorders. Barbara emphasizes that diseases such as cancer, yeast infections, and fungal overgrowth flourish in an acidic environment, particularly with a pH around 5.5. When we consistently consume acidic foods and drinks like Coca-Cola, we may unknowingly lower our body's pH to a level where these harmful conditions can thrive. The acidity from these drinks does not just pass through the body without effect. It can lead to a more permanent acidic state, which is exactly where these diseases like to grow. She also explains that the association between fungus and illness has been acknowledged broadly only since 1980, which is comparatively new in the medical world. Therefore, it's crucial to maintain a normal pH level in our bodies. It's just that simple. The more acidic we become internally, the more we attract diseases. Number 4, oxygen depletion.
And you don't have to worry about the pH of your blood, because there are two organs that are constantly monitoring and balancing it. One is the lungs, range. The other organ is the kidneys.
The acidity of Coca-Cola can disrupt the balance of our body, particularly when it comes to oxygen availability at the cellular level. Barbara points out that our body has key organs, like the lungs and kidneys, that are constantly working to maintain the correct pH balance in the body. For instance, when you start exercising, especially during intense activities like running uphill, your muscles burn more fuel, producing carbon dioxide and lactic acid as byproducts. Causes the pH in your blood to become slightly more acidic. In response, the brain signals the lungs to breathe more deeply. Oxygen has an alkalizing effect on the blood, thus helping to maintain its normal pH within a narrow range suitable for life. Barbara emphasizes that blood is important to life because it carries oxygen, water, and other vital substances to our cells. While the blood's pH must remain stable, around 7.35 to 7.45, the pH within individual cells is different. It should be approximately 7.0, which is slightly acidic. However, when you consume something as acidic as Coca-Cola, the impact can go beyond just the blood. The acidity can also affect the cells, lowering their pH and making the internal environment more acidic. O'Neill warns that this increased acidity can reduce the amount of oxygen available to cells, as oxygen struggles to be effective in an overly acidic environment. This imbalance can lead to significant health issues over time, as the body's natural acid-alkaline balance is disrupted. With regular consumption of acidic drinks, you might unknowingly create conditions in your body that not only lower oxygen availability, but also pave the way for various diseases and disorders, as discussed earlier. Number 5, sugar content.
So, why does fruit feed fungus? Well, fungus loves sugar. It gives off acetic acid. It gives off lactic acid. It gives off uric acid.
The high sugar content of Coca-Cola affects our bodies in many harmful ways. Barbara explains that yeast and other fungi thrive on sugar. When these organisms consume sugar, like the large amounts found in Coca-Cola, they produce acids such as acetic acid, lactic acid, and uric acid, along with alcohol. This process creates a more acidic environment in the body, which is ideal for yeast and harmful cells to grow. As mentioned earlier, O'Neill points out that this acidic state not only benefits the yeast, but also creates the conditions where cancer cells can grow. She highlights that cancer cells also love sugar. This means that consuming sugary drinks, such as Coca-Cola, can provide a food source for cancer cells, potentially supporting their growth. Coca-Cola is particularly high in sugar. A single 12-ounce can contains about 39 grams of sugar, which is roughly 10 teaspoons. This makes it easier for both yeast infections and cancer cells to thrive. She also notes that sugar, especially in its pure form, is very harmful. Books like Sugar Blues and Pure White and Deadly discuss the dangers of sugar in detail, with some experts even suggesting that sugar could be considered toxic due to its severe impact on health. On a broader perspective, O'Neill suggests reducing sugar intake if you are dealing with yeast infections or similar health issues. She recommends switching to lower glycemic fruits and alternatives like honey or palm sugar, which are less processed and less likely to contribute to the problem caused by excessive sugar. In simple terms, sugar is found in many unexpected products, so cutting back can help improve health and manage conditions more effectively. So, if this is all with the sugar alone, what's the deal with the other ingredients of Coke? Number 6, dehydration risk.
I dehydrate. I said to one lady, "Do you drink much water?" She said, "I have quite a bit in my cups of tea." No. How clean would your body be if you washed it in a cup of tea? No, water and water alone. One lady said, I don't like water. I said, your body does.
In society, many people mistakenly think of drinks like Coca-Cola as hydrating products, which is incorrect. Barbara asserts that although Coca-Cola is a liquid, it can actually lead to dehydration rather than hydration. The presence of caffeine and high sugar concentration in Coca-Cola is responsible for this, as they have diuretic effects, increasing urine production and resulting in the loss of body fluids. Barbara shares an example to illustrate this point. She notes that many Australians struggle with dehydration, often because they rely on drinks like tea, which might not provide adequate hydration. She recalls an interaction with a woman where she asked the woman about her water intake, and the woman mentioned that she drank tea regularly. O'Neill compared this to washing the body with tea instead of plain water, saying, "How clean would your body be if you washed it in a cup of tea? You need water, pure water, to properly hydrate your body."
So many people are dehydrated, one, because they're not drinking enough water. That creates an acid condition. And they're also dehydrated because they're not having the right salt. You think about it, we cry seawater. We sweat seawater. We urinate seawater. Baby swims in utero in seawater. So we need that salt.
When it comes to drinking water, she suggests sipping it throughout the day if you have trouble drinking enough at once. For example, taking just a mouthful every 5 minutes becomes significant over time. Furthermore, O'Neill argues that drinking large quantities all at once may not work since they pass through our systems too quickly and do not provide lasting hydration, potentially straining kidney function. Number 7. Tooth enamel erosion. Lastly, Barbara sheds light on how the high acidity of Coca-Cola can have detrimental effects on our dental health. She explains that the pH balance in the mouth is naturally alkaline, which helps protect our teeth. However, when you drink something highly acidic, like Coca-Cola, it can disrupt this balance. The acidity of Coca-Cola may reduce the pH level in the mouth, increasing its acidity over time. In her explanation, she suggests that Coca-Cola, together with other acidic drinks and food, may cause your body difficulty in sustaining a constant blood pH.
Calcium phosphate is pulled out of its that's big storage area. Where's calcium stored? Bones.
For example, when drinking Coca-Cola or having a cup of coffee with sugar in it, major organs like the lungs and kidneys have to work harder to keep the blood pH level in balance, as both Coca-Cola and coffee are acid-forming substances. When the blood pH starts to drop below the normal range, around 7.35 to 7.32, the body takes drastic measures to restore balance. One of these measures is to pull calcium phosphate from the bones and teeth, as these are the primary storage areas for these minerals.
The teeth, the only exposed bone in the body. Comes into the blood, immediately alkalizes 7.3334.
Teeth are the only visible bony structures in the human body, making them very sensitive to calcium loss. The body thus extracts calcium from the teeth to the blood, leading to enamel breakdown and erosion. This eventually results in the progressive demineralization of the tooth enamel over time. In addition, deposits of calcium removed from bones can cause other diseases, such as kidney stones, gallstones, arthritis, bone spurs, and others. Hence, drinking Coca-Cola and other acidic products such as soda alters one's blood pH. In addition, it causes the loss of tooth enamel, as calcium is mobilized from bones to counter the effect. This should be a reason to be concerned when consuming such products in relation to their effects on our health, including dental well-being. Although it is well known that beverages such as Coca-Cola and any products containing similar fructose are unhealthy because of the sugar content they have, there are numerous other issues associated with the intake of such products. Keeping that in mind, an increase in your sugar intake will lead to weight gain. It also leads to more severe conditions like type 2 diabetes, heart diseases, and liver diseases. Rates of processed sugar consumption are also unhealthy, as fructose is metabolized differently than glucose, leading to fatty liver. These also can cause much harm to the teeth, especially because most of them contain sugar and are acidic, which leads to tooth decay. Moreover, even though much attention has been paid to Dr. Barbara O'Neill's opinions, it is important to stick with effective scientific literature when studying such aspects as the health dangers of products containing sugary drinks. Current and former guidelines on healthy living and dietary suggestions still recommend people reduce their intake of sugar, especially from drinks such as Coca-Cola, because the product offers little or no nutritional value. For example, the American Heart Association has stated the maximum quantity of added sugar that a woman should take should not exceed 25 grams, which is equivalent to 6 teaspoons of sugar. In comparison, a man should not take more than 36 grams, which is equivalent to 9 teaspoons of sugar. A can of Coca-Cola may contain up to 39 grams of sugar, which puts everyone in danger of consuming more than such standards require in a single serving. Moreover, O'Neill's claims and actions are also examples of how one has to pay attention to the information and decisions made regarding one's health. Though some viewpoints concerning alternative health can be helpful, they should be clinically proven to avoid being fatal. This means that giving out wrong information or half-baked information about nutrition and health can cause more harm than good. Consequently, one should not confuse such outlooks with scientific recommendations to make the right choice in terms of consumed products. So if you've come this far, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.